Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear us and see us. Thanks for joining this afternoon. Welcome to the first edition of the Amicus Business Central Live series. And today we're joined by Tobias Schwedler, who'll be talking us through the subscription billing within Business Central, how this was developed, going through some use cases, demos, and then taking some questions and stuff like that at the end. Tobias has got to talk about 20 minutes presentation, and then we can move on to the Q&A at the end. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat as we go along, and then at the end, I can hopefully get Tobias to answer them as best as possible. But that's it from me, Tobias. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me having me here. I'm honored to speak on this first occasion. So I think you can see my presentation. I prepared some slides for you to get you some introduction, and then we can switch over into the system if you want to. I have an introduction overview, like what is subscription billing, what do you have to understand when we talk about it, some demo use cases, Q&A, and open discussion. So what is subscription billing? We have to start with a little bit of history. So our company, this whole thing started with, was found in the 90s, and in 1999 we had this contract billing that was called in the Vision back in the day. So it was part of a legacy solution now, legacy solution now, but not back in the day. And so then a lot of years that nothing happened. we did our projects with this software, and so it's basically for the IT industry. We are IT, and we are working for IT. And in 2017, a lot of our customers approached us and said, like, hey, there's this new CSP stuff, this billing based on usage. So how does it go? How can we do it? And we actually had to understand what it meant to be in the first place. And so we were developing this module, but it was still in this big monolith solution of Navision. And then 4 years later, we started for doing some refactoring and redesigning of this feature set, and releasing the first DYCE app. It's called Subscription and Recurring Billing. It's kind of similar for Business Central SaaS. And a year later, we released the usage-based billing part as the second app. It's now part of an ecosystem of 18 apps about. And so this is 2025 with a lot of a big portfolio. But Microsoft approached us at the end of 23 and said, okay, we would like to license these two apps from you because we have this weak spot there, this blind spot, and we would like to fill that gap. And you're on the shortlist. And so we were okay. We were flattered. And then okay, what does this mean? And so I will come back to this in a minute. But this is how it all started. So the subscription billing itself is now a module, an app within Business Central. It was released about a year ago, fall 2024. And you can quote, sell subscriptions, handle the validities, and doing cancellation and having contracts, vendor and customer side, and having subscriptions. That is the actual subscription, that the service that you as a customer or your customer is using. And this can be put together and managed by contracts. And then the recurring billing, because it's the essence, the billing happens recurringly, is then the outcome of it. There are some extra features on top of it, like planned price updates, for example, or if there is a termination date set and the customer needs a renewal quote in order to prolong the subscription, there are features for this. And as I mentioned before, the usage-based billing. So it can work without usage data, or you import user data from some external source, and then this triggers your processing. And this is then actually based on consumption or usage-based consumption billing. And it's a very flexible module, so you can sell subscriptions as they are, as themselves, or you can attach a subscription to for example, a hardware product. If you think of stuff like maintenance and warranty and service attached to something that you're selling. So it's pretty flexible. And the unique selling points is you can combine, and this is not possible in the BC standard standalone. You can combine selling a one-time element and a recurring element at the same time in the same sales document. Layouts for printing come with it, and of course, master data. You don't have to set it up all the time on the fly, but you can rely on master data. Batch processing is another very important element because usually there is like mass of data. So there's like hundreds and thousands of contracts, and you can always overlook them and or even create the invoices manually. So there's a batch processing approach in the whole module. And usage data, of course, is some kind of specialty, can be imported and then use this as the base for invoicing. So for those of you who are familiar with the entity structure of Business Central, we have the items, master data, and we can use them together with this what we call subscription packages in an optional sales process, or you can use them like right away. You have subscriptions that come out of these items once you sell them or once you provide it to a customer. And they have like details, like what is this service actually? Like what is the billing rhythm? What is the term that the price is valid for? Is there cancellation period, renewal terms, these kind of things? And the usage data then can connect to these subscriptions and ends details. And in the end, you can assign these subscriptions to a contract, and then the contract then brings the commercial information, like who's the invoice recipient, what are the payment terms, these kind of things. So it actually aligns with the data entities of Business Central, and it complements the existing application. So that's a subscription, and there are like details called subscription lines to it, and there is the entity of a customer subscription contract. And these two kind of belong together. You can assign a subscription line or a subscription to a customer contract, but the contract itself can have also multiple lines, so coming out of multiple subscriptions. And these multiple subscriptions could also belong to a vendor side. So if you have a recurring invoice you're receiving, for example, for insurances or phone bills or stuff like this, that could be the vendor sending you some invoices in that are basically similar or recurring, and then you can contract. You can set this up to work in the vendor side as well. Then these are linked together, and you can, for example, take them out of one contract, move it to the other one. That's what the handling and managing is all about. But the invoicing is independent from those. So how Microsoft comes along, gives you a call, and saying, okay, we want to buy your stuff. So how does it feel? How does it go? So there's these contract negotiations, of course, what we had in following up that. Actually, I think it was the day of our Christmas party in the office that this call came in. And so we were talking to them and the product team and the product managers, and keep finding middle ground we're all happy with. And then we shipped the code in May last year based on a shared repository, and we were inter-exchanging. But the challenge there was, it was two apps combined into one, but as part of a bigger portfolio of 16, 18 apps. And these are, of course, designed to work in our ecosystem, and now it's BC standard. So although we have high quality standards in the code and how it's on the whole architecture, but it's not the same as it is in Business Central. So there were a lot of stuff that we had to adopt to. And yeah, based on that, the development or the maintenance basically goes on or continues for these DYCE apps. And there we have like a constant sync to bring updates and fixes to the to Business Central. There's also, we had planned features back in the day when Microsoft called. So there was a feature backlog. And so we were talking to Microsoft that we see some features need to go into the standard. And okay, we agreed on that we will be developing them or these features and hand it over to Microsoft. So as of now, the subscription billing module in Business Central Standard is even ahead of what we had in our DYCE portfolio back in the day. We were listening to community feedback. That was, for example, like we had a name change. So there used to be like service. This term service was very prominent. And we were like exchanging this by subscription at the very early days. And other stuff that we were listening to on the different channels on Yammer and on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of stuff going on. People are addressing Microsoft, people are addressing us. So we're all going to collect this feedback and try to streamline this and bring it into the product. Now, of course, it also means the remaining app structure and the portfolio for ourselves, we have to do like a restructuring, of course. And funny enough, that as of today, we are releasing a version that you can transfer the existing DYCE customers can now switch over to the Microsoft standard. And so we were kind of sunsetting our own portfolio now. So what does it mean in daily work? So we have dual fixes with Microsoft, like bi-weekly in this case, with the product team and the program manager, and we were discussing on a kind of detailed level. We were discussing challenges. So what's coming up there? What about the demo data? How can we get people in? What is the expectation from Microsoft? So we are like exchanging there a lot. And now, I'm already in the middle of training the support team for Microsoft, because of course they have to like take it over at some point, and like bugs or questions, basically issues, already raising. So they're kind of like, can you help us with this? What do you think about that? And what's the basic process about it? And yeah. So, and we are like dealing with the bug fixing whenever Microsoft needs help. We are jumping in and we're actually sharing this work. So it's quite interesting, I would say, because it's like a kind of like a unique experience, at least for me, and or for all of us. And yeah, that was quite interesting. So for you, as you may are new to the module or want to try to where to start and what can we do? If you want to get an idea, so these are these key entities that you should take a look at when you try to jump in. So that's basically the setup for the whole module. It's called subscription contract setup. We can specify number series and these kind of things, or like additional information that is to be printed out on the invoice. So general stuff basically. And there's something about posting. The module comes with a possibility to do automatic deferrals. And so you need to set up like where to put the deferrals, where to get back from. It goes for cost and revenue. So you can deal with this as well. Contract types, it's pretty simple. Classification, clustering, using them for filtering in the end or afterwards in the processing. So it makes sense to set this up for the typical types of contracts that you may be using. And the subscription packages in the item, that's the master data. You need to like specify, okay, which item is a subscription and what does the subscription package, basically the details of the subscription. You can set this up as in a second place and then link them together. So you can reuse one package for several subscription items and using them for creating the subscriptions itself and the invoicing afterwards. So you need to define the services, the details of the services in these packages, and then on the item card there is this new field called subscription option that you can use for these purposes. But the easiest way to start is actually when you set up a new company or a new sandbox, for example, there's this Contoso demo data. For those who have not heard yet of this, it's a great tool. You can call it like from the menu, and you can during the process of setting up a new company, it asks you whether you want to create the demo data for this or for whatever module, and subscription billing is one of it. So once you run this, after you check the box here and then click on next, the company is created, and then it brings all the demo data that you need to get for a start. So it brings items, it brings subscription packages, it brings templates for the recurring, even demo data, which is already there in the contracts, subscriptions that are already set up. So it's very convenient, and I can highly recommend to do that. So what can you do about it with it? So I prepared like 2 use cases here we could take a look at, and then maybe discuss other use cases afterwards, and even take a look at them in the system. One thing we call contract flow. This is pretty simple. It's the simplest use case you could think of. So imagine someone calls and you're providing, for example, a digital newspaper, or you're providing, I don't know, your fitness gym, and you need to provide a membership there. Then you can just create a subscription contract for this person or for this company, for the end user, and add the subscription into the contract, and then create the invoice out of it. So that's as simple as it gets. And maybe a more sophisticated use case is like different items combined into, or different subscription like elements combined into like one headline. So, for example, created this managed home office here. It consists of a hardware, it consists of a software, support for the hardware or the software, and this all combined into one, with a sales process, maybe even upfront. So this is like also like pretty straightforward. You can, in this case, start with a sales quote, and you can send the quote, process it into the order, do the normal steps you do when you process these kind of like business case, and then you create a contract for the same customer, and then you you sign the subscription into that contract, and then you can create the invoice either out of the contract again directly, or you can use a worksheet page that gives you a proposal for the invoices to be created. You can save this proposal, you can reuse this template, and then extend the proposal with even more templates that you're running this with. And in the end, you can say, okay, create the invoices, maybe combined invoices, for example, or you can create an invoice per contract, whatever you want. And therefore, this batch process is like the best approach. And this proposal is much more convenient than handling a big number of contracts manually by always creating the invoices manually. Of course, when you do a credit memo, that's all that I got asked a lot. When you have to do some corrections of an invoice posted, it rewinds the whole thing. So it releases the deferrals, for example. It rewinds the next billing date that is key to when does the next billing should happen. And so this is very bulletproof, I would say. I try to make this process flow as simple as possible, but it's not like super simple. I would I recommend to suggest to go over it, starting with the master data, and there you can define, okay, what are my subscriptions? What am I selling? Well, basically, what are my products? What do they bring when it comes to subscriptions? And you can create packages out of this, and you can assign these packages to items. So this is, I think, pretty straightforward. Still straightforward using these items then in sales documents that you all know, sales quotes, sales orders. You can post them, ship them, invoice them. That's all very simple. But with the shipment, the subscription itself is created automatically. And then you can decide on, okay, what is my contract? Are there any open subscriptions that are not yet linked with the contract? And then you can just bring them in to the contract, and then use this billing template to create the invoices, either customer side or vendor side. Deferrals are created automatically along the way, and there's a job that you can that releases these deferrals regularly. So there's this green arrow on the left-hand side. So this means in the sales documents, and this is what I meant with you can have like a one-time item sale and the recurring element combined into one. In the sales documents with additional layouts, they output these two elements or these two types of elements. So the details that you see there, okay, if I confirm this quote, I will not only be need to pay whatever amount one time, but also a different amount recurringly. So this is all presented in the document. And this is then the details that, of course, reflect the elements that go into the contract later. And speaking of the contracts and the usage data, if you have a use case where usage data is involved, they also connect to the contract line. So the data model is, I think, the lower part is the new one, and the upper part is mostly known. So this interacts like kind of like seamlessly. Even more, I think from this spring, like April or May or something, Microsoft added a new Power BI. They've added a lot of Power BIs in the meantime, but there's also Power BI for subscription billing. I think it brings 13 standardized reports like churn rate and monthly recurring revenue and these kind of things. All there out of the box. It's really great, looks great, and it gives you a great insight on the numbers from your system. So what's next? I mean, we don't stop here. So we've been working with Microsoft like very closely, as I mentioned earlier, and we kind of like we have to update the learn pages. I think the first round is already through, updating the terminology. And the next level or next stage would be to bring in use cases and configuration, best practices, and these kind of things into the documentation. And there's some features that need to be documented as well that are there kind of like under the hood, but are not yet like visible in the docs. One thing that is coming definitely is we call it like billing automation. That's when you basically are able to set up that the system can like create like billing proposals and posting those if you want to like automatically. And so you don't have to run it like ad hoc, but it will then do this, create this for you on a scheduled basis. there's maybe some minor stuff behind it or in between lines, but new ideas can of course be posted in the BC ideas section. This aka.ms/BC ideas, you can just bring them in there, and they kind of like surface at some point in the product team from Microsoft, and we will be discussing these ideas and think of how maybe we've heard of them before and we did not implement it yet, or we already have an idea on how to do it. So it's kind of like an ongoing process. And we from Singhammer, of course, we also don't stop here because we provided a kind of like a good and solid base where it can, which covers I think, very like useful use cases, like a number of use cases, and but there is some specialties on top of that. And these specialties we will be adding in the next couple of months, hopefully, in the new apps that build on top of what is now the BC standard. So we call it like feature suite, or maybe a connector app to download stuff from the partner center and bring it into the system directly. You can do it manually, but this would be more convenient. So there's some stuff from us coming there as well. So the key takeaways, I would say these four here. You can start with setting up items and packages, use the Contoso demo data for this, and see how and understand how this is set up, and think of like what needs to be changed in the configuration to fit your use case. And then you need a couple of entities, for example, this contract and subscription and subscription lines, details to get it to work. But again, the demo data will help you here. And be creative. It's like based on the contract, you can like put together whatever you want. That what is needed for billing is always in lines. So you can, if you want to separate different types of subscriptions by different contracts and using different contract types, feel free. Or you can put it all in one per customer, feel free. Think of like use cases on the vendor side as well. And so basically, you can, this is very flexible. And when it comes, or when you have the need to invoice or to bill for usage data, and then there's this possibility here as well. Set up a usage supplier and then import the files, the reconciliation files, kind of similar like these bank reconciliation files. You can import them, process them, and then create the invoices based on the usage data on the consumption level. So these are basically the takeaways. This is the what Microsoft always tells you. Everything you need to find about subscription billing can be found under this URL. And I think this is kind of like the end of my slides. And now we have like time for Q&A, or we can open this discussion. We can jump into the system if we have time. So whatever you want.
No worries. Thanks a lot for that, Tobias. Hopefully everyone found that very helpful. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please post them in the chat now. I'll sort of start us off, Tobias. Obviously, you've gone through, a lot of sort of development and stuff over the last couple of years, and you mentioned a few maybe more short-term things you've got planned. But what do you see for sort of subscription billing over the next year or sort of few years, really?
Well, of course we were asking Microsoft like what are the numbers because we were interested in it. And I think in the first wave where it was out, it was like wave 2 in 2024. People started testing, which is okay. But since this wave, the current wave since April, it's really picking up. So and we are kind of through. We have like smaller things. We want to, for example, be able to pause the billing. so in order to not do it like recurringly, but being able to pause for a period in time. That would be something on a feature side that I would see, or also not only bill in advance, but also bill in arrears. And it's also a feature that has been requested. We knew this from our own industries and from our own customers. So, and the billing automation has to be developed. Still, we started, but it's not finished yet. So, I think these 3 features is definitely something that will be coming, and the rest is actually open for feedback from the community. So of course, Microsoft will do some aligning. There was, for example, the idea. Okay, what about the deferrals? Do they have to be really like 2 models for deferring, or can we kind of harmonize them? But this is not settled yet. We had the subscription billing. The Power BI, which is also stuff that used to be like was also demanded, and the controls demo data was also demanded, and we were thinking about, okay, maybe we need an agent, a subscription agent, for example, to integrate some AI tools or some AI capabilities. This is like current state of discussion, but it's not settled yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if there will be like at some point a subscription agent or something. Of course, we have to find use cases for this, and it has to be additional value, because as you can imagine, there's quite some time going into this development. And you always have to differentiate, okay, do I really need an agent for this, or is it basically code that I can like fire up? So agents like interactive and stuff. And so there would be like, when it comes to subscription billing, always like the need to connect to external systems, which is always kind of like complex, I would say. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of like ideas we've been discussing. So and a lot of like effort that can go into the system. From Microsoft side, I would say I think they're pretty happy. The customer feedback is pretty well, and so we agreed to take out to put out the gas maybe a little bit, and then see, okay, what does the community really want, and not like spend so much time in development or maybe spend the time on the right development.
Nice.
Or the right features.
Cool. We've had a couple of questions come through. I'm not sure if you can see those twice, but we've got the first one from Jeff asking, will stub periods be supported for existing contracts?
What actually, I don't see the chat because I'm sharing my screen. What will be supported? Can you say it again?
Will stub periods be supported for existing contracts?
What?
If you want to try stop sharing, if you stop sharing your screen.
Here it is. Stop periods. Okay. Actually, I don't know the word stop. So what is the details behind it? Existing contracts, stop periods. Stop periods. Let me see here for a second. So let's see. I think I have to get back to the first question a little bit later, because I have to like understand the details about it first. So yeah, the next one was what are the most common architectural pitfalls when performance and data consistency? Yeah, okay. That's a very interesting question, because we had this module in the legacy solution, and we knew that we wanted to improve and make things better. So, like learning from what we've seen before, the biggest challenge was, I guess, this billing proposal on the one hand side, and being flexible with in the old solution, we had a lot of like data in the line and in the header of the contract, and we brought it all down to the line. And using this, this makes it possible to always update the contract line whenever situation there is, or whatever like state this line is. There is a billing proposal created, the next billing date and the line is already forwarded. If the line is created, is deleted, it has to be reminded. What if a document is already created for this but not posted? Crediting an existing invoice, of course, has to also do a rewind in the data of the contract line, and then so to make this waterproof was one of the biggest issues we had, the most complex ones. And when it comes to performance, something that we unfortunately can't do anything about is so creating we call it posting document, for example, or credit memo or invoice, purchase or customer side. So creating this is rather quick, but posting it, like the processing of posting the document, is something that we cannot like interfere with. So this is basically standard. And when it comes to this mass data of posting the documents, I think this is the biggest performance. I wouldn't call it issue because we're talking about seconds here, but that has the highest peak in the processing time, I would say. And so the architectural pitfall is, I think it's not subscription specific, but having a module which is flexible, and this module is super flexible, and easy at the same time. So usually this is like kind of contradictional, because when you have like a very simple stuff that or simple functionality, and then it's not flexible. It may be simple, but it covers only 50% of the use case, and that's just small, the easier ones or simpler ones. And when it comes to more flexibility, more features that you have to bring in, for example, if you want to have a price update, and you plan the price update for next January 1st, and you have not done the billing until then because it's monthly billing, but you don't want to spend your like mid-December updating all the contracts and having the invoices posted before. So this is where we had to have like or maybe a complex solution on the technical side, but make it easier for the user. And that's when we came up with, for example, with like planned subscription details or planned subscription lines. So they are applied whenever they are ready to be applied. For example, the new price is then applied when the last invoice is posted with the old price, for example. So having a data model that is capable with this kind of flexibility is it's not very easy, and having the processes the users or the handling the user does in mind is the second one. For example, if you think of something like a renewal, the contract and the contract line has an end date, and it has to be renewed, and the customer asks for a quote. Then you're not selling anything, you're not shipping anything, but that's when we decided, okay, do we create like something completely new out of it? And you have to explain like what to do and how to use and how to find that entity, or can we use existing like entities like sales quotes and stuff? But then what about quantities shipped and stuff, so you don't ship anything. So you have to come up with solutions with this in order to make it easy for the user, that you can say, okay, I create a quote, I can send it to you, and then I do like make order and process the order, which results in a subscription line that is now prolonged by another year. So this is where it gets tricky, I would say. Okay, so
Perfect.
dealing with an existing contract for prior activity doesn't need to be recognized. Yeah, I think that's what do you mean with stub periods? I guess. So there's a way to for bringing existing data from another system into subscription billing. There are actually 3 import tables. It's called import customer contracts, something, import subscriptions, and import contract lines. And with this possibility, you can like create the state as it is, and then use the like existing functionality to create, for example, like deferrals and delta billing, for example, to the data that you took over. But of course, when it comes to deferrals and these topics, you always have to take some finance expertise and bring it on and say, okay, what exactly should it look like in the end? And then, of course, we always recommend to do some testing with the latest versions, and then see does the proposed way work, bring you to the desired result.
Perfect. Well, hopefully that answers everybody's questions. I think that's everything that's been put in the chat. Thank you very much, Tobias, for talking us through that, answering the questions. And yeah, obviously, if anyone has any questions or feedback from the webinar today, feel free to drop me a message. Tobias has also kindly shared with me his slides from today. So yeah, I'm happy to send those over to anyone that is interested. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining today. Thanks, Tobias.
Thank
And
you very much for having
hopefully,
me.
we can schedule the next one soon.
Yeah,
Cheers.
have a great day.
Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye.